Hi, welcome, and I hope you're doing well. This video here I'll be doing a screen replacement on a MacBook Pro A1708. This is the 2017 model. So if you have a 2016 or 2017 model, this tutorial will be the same step for you to follow and get your LCD screen replaced. So let me turn it around and I'll show it to you. The model number here is A1708, and this is a 13-inch MacBook Pro. And as you can see, I do have a new screen replacement here. Alright, so they have this one, which is the LCD board. And if I turn it around and I'll show it to you, it does say it's a new Apple MacBook Pro 13-inch. The model is A1706 or A1708 for 2016 and 2017 model. Alright, so I will have the new screen in the description below where you can click on the link and buy it from either eBay or Amazon. If you click on the link, I really appreciate Amazon or eBay would give me some kind of commission as doing the referral link on the website. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First, you need to have a pentalobe screw, and this pentalobe screwdriver is to open up the back cover. And you actually need to have the right tools for this screen replacement process. And what I'll do is I will have the link in the description below where you can buy the screwdrivers from. It's actually come in a set. So with the whole set, you would able to perform this screen replacement without any problem. Alright, once I remove all the screws, the next step what you need to do is to make sure that you pop open the back plate. Now just come back to the screw here. The 4 screws on the top left and right and the bottom left and right, these 4 screws right here are longer screws and the 2 screws here are shorter. Okay, now to get open, you actually need to have some kind of prying tool just to stick it in enough for you to get a hold of this back plate. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is there is a little clipper here. So this clipper is clipped onto the side of the back plate. So you need to pop open in order to slide it out. So let's go ahead and put some pressure. You hear that pop? So right here is the clipper. I'm putting my finger and push to pop it open. Now we turn it around and I'm doing it on this side of the back plate. So again, do the same thing and you can hear that pop. So once you have that 2 pop, what you want to do is you want to slide this back plate towards you. So slide it towards your body, slide it down, and then slide it down on this side as well. And that's how you remove the back plate. The reason why I ask you to slide it, because this is the slider where you slide underneath here. Okay, so let's put this back plate on the side. Here you can obviously see the entire motherboard, the fan, and the battery. So the speakers is here. So if you want to change the speaker, this is how you're going to do it. But for this video, we are not changing the speaker. We are concentrating to change out the LCD. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is to disconnect the battery. So flip this plastic cover up. We do not need that. Here we need to open up that clipper. So there's a tiny clipper here. So flip it up. So I'm using my fingernail, flip that little clipper, standing straight up, and now I'm going to slide this flex cable to my left. Okay, slide it to your left, and that's how you detach this cable. Once you have this cable detached, go ahead and get a Torx 5 screwdriver. This is a T5. For my case, my screwdriver is T5, but you should find a right screw, the torque that fits in. Once you remove this screw, this metal here is touching, so this is the battery connector, so the battery is touching onto the board. As long as you tilt a little bit, lift it up a little bit without touching, the separation would disconnect the battery. So just a tiny little lift. Okay, you do not want to break it. If you break this, you're having a bad day. Okay, that means the whole motherboard is gone. So you see this bracket here, they are all soldered onto the motherboard, so do not break this, just tilt a slight little. Now this is how you disconnect the battery. The next step I'll be explaining right now is to show you this yellow bar here is a Wi-Fi antenna. Okay, so and this is the board, the LCD board, and then this cable is a bridge connection between the board and the motherboard. So we need to remove this as well, and then after that we remove these two hinges, and that's how the entire screen come right out. So let's get started. So two screws, these two screws are holding onto the bracket. Let's put that on the side. Again, another two screws. Holding onto the bracket, put it on the side, and this is the cable. So this cable is a connection bridge between the motherboard to the LCD board. So get a plastic prying tool, stick it underneath, pry it open. It's just like Lego, you just pry it up, it would open. Okay, so I'm flipping this back to the motherboard so that we get room to open it. Now go ahead and remove these two screws. Okay, so these two screws here, the right, and these two screws here on the left is part of the LCD. Okay, so that one here is part of the LCD. It would come right out afterwards. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm transferring this bracket here. So if you look at the, I'll show it to you in a minute. So if you look at the new screen, this is where that bracket is going to be. So these two screws here, this little clipper is actually for this. Alright, so this is the clipper that I'm referring to. And then this one right here, the metal silver bracket, it is actually the one that's holding onto this flex cable. So this new screen doesn't come with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this over to that new screen right here. Okay, let's put that on the side. We are transferring over to the new screen, so let's put that on the side for now. Okay, here is the larger screw, and this screw here is actually holding onto the board. Okay, there are 4 screws. Now once you remove all 4 screws, you would feel that this LCD board is free and loose and ready to come out. But it is not yet because it tucked underneath this Wi-Fi antenna. So we need to remove the Wi-Fi antenna for the board to come out freely with the LCD together. Now here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 really tiny screws for the Wi-Fi. You really need to have the right tool to remove this Wi-Fi screw. And if you strip the Wi-Fi screw, then I'm sorry, you would have to watch my other tutorial on how to remove strip screws. So take your time. You know, it doesn't take a lot of pressure to remove a screw. So make sure you have the right tool and make sure you have the right pressure to make that first twist. When you twist it right, it will come out without any problem. Now these Wi-Fi screws are really tiny, they're all the same. It's okay if you just match the screw, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now I have all the screws removed without any stripping. That is a good sign. Now at this point here, there's one more screw, and this screw is like the ground screw and also holding onto the Wi-Fi antenna. So let's put that one screw on the side. Here is a Wi-Fi antenna cable. Be very careful when you remove it. What you want to do is you want to pry and pop it upwards. Okay, so I stick it underneath and I pry it upwards. Okay, so they're like Lego. As long as in the right position, it snaps on. Before I do that, let me go ahead and do a little marker here. So I put a little Sharpie on the marker. So this little blue is going to be on the top, and then without the marker is going to be at the bottom. Just a personal reference for that. Now at this point, once you have that Wi-Fi, all the screws removed, your Wi-Fi should just come out without any problem. So you may need to wiggle a little bit to give some room, but it should just come right out. It shouldn't be stuck. Okay, so I just got to wiggle, pry it a little bit and wiggle. And the way to get it out, you need to slide it underneath. Alright, so this bracket here, there's a hole, you got to slide it out, so slide it away from you. But first you need to make sure that the Wi-Fi antenna is loose enough to be open. Come on. Okay, now you can see that how the cable slide out. Okay, you just have to be very careful and slide it out. Okay, let's put the Wi-Fi on the side. We are almost there. So first we need to remove this bracket, and these two screws are holding onto this black bracket here. And once the bracket is exposed, you will see the hinge, right? So this is the hinge. Okay, you want to do the same on the other side. Now this is the hinge. The hinge is running on the Torque 8 screwdriver. So go ahead and remove that. So there are 3 screws on both sides. Well, I forgot to show you my screen. This original screen here, what happened is that I have pixelated and fuzzy lines. So when I turn it on, you can see the screen is all different color and fuzzy screen. That means the LCD is bad, and that's the reason why I'm changing it out. Now you see I removed all the 6 screws. What I need to do is to lift the screen up and try to open the screen at about all the way, more than 90-degree angle. And at this point you want to kind of push it up a little bit, so this hinge would just come out while you're holding it. Okay, and do it on the other side as well. And once you do that, you can see that the entire screen would just come right out. Okay, so this is how you remove the entire screen. Alright, so this broken screen, let's put it on the side here. This is my new screen. So what I'm doing is I'm opening up the hinge slightly more than 90-degree angle on both sides. Okay, now I flip it the other side, and make sure all this LCD board and the cable is above. Okay, so it's going to go above onto the board here. So make sure I have it on the top here, and then at the same time I will slide one corner first. Make sure it goes in. Okay, and I try to match the other part, but again, make sure all that cable right here, right? So make sure this cable, the board, all the cable is sitting on top of this. Okay, make sure it's sitting on top of this, and then come back here and slide this one in. Now once you have the screen sliding, you want to tilt, you want to keep holding onto the screen. What I'm doing right now is to put one screw to hold the hinge, and I'll put another screw on the other side to hold the hinge so that I can close the screen. Okay, so once I have both of them, now I can close the screen without any problem. Alright, so double check, make sure the board is on top, and make sure this two little clipper is on top as well. Alright, so once I have these two on top, let me go ahead and finish up the screw. So these screws are holding onto the hinge. Put the other remaining two screws back on. And put the two remaining screws on the other side. And do not forget this plastic cover, so put the plastic cover back on as well while we are still working on this. I hope that you are still following along. If you have any question, just comment below. I'm more than happy to answer the question. And just take your time. You don't have to rush to do this. You know, it's not easy for me as the first time as well. So I spend a lot of time doing it little by little. And I wonder why it doesn't go in. Maybe the new screen. Maybe the new screen, that hole is too small compared to the original one. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it's not going onto the new screen. But that's okay. I'm sorry. So this manufacturer did not make the hole big enough. Somewhat the screws are not going onto this. I don't think you really need this plastic cover, to be honest with you. You can put it on like this, and then when you put the screws back on, you would hold it at least, but not these two tiny screws. It's okay. I'm just gonna skip that part. So let me put this plastic bracket back on. But for you should put it on if you can, but if you cannot, no big deal. Okay, I just do not want you to worry about if you can't put it in. next step I need to do is to make sure that, yep, you see how this cable is short? That means it's clipped on the other end. So let me open up the screen a little bit and see if it comes out. So like I said, you need to make sure that the cable is all the way up, because right now, if you can see, it is clipped right here. Okay, so this cable here is still stuck. I need to open up the hinge. To get it all the way up. Okay, so now it looks good. I can close this hinge back on. Okay, let me double check, make sure that the cable is not exposed. Yep, it looks flat on both sides, so that's good. Okay, next, before you can do anything else, make sure that the Wi-Fi is going back on. So to go back on, onto the Wi-Fi, meaning that this Wi-Fi would have to go on top of this cable, right? So slide this two Wi-Fi antenna back and make sure that the ground and that Wi-Fi cable is there. And now you just got to align, make sure they go back onto properly. Okay, now it looks good. What I'll do is I'll put the Wi-Fi cable here to lock it down, and we are installing all the screws, right? So these are all the tiny screws for the Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to be quiet and hurry up to do this screw. Alright, so I have all the screws back on. Now, this LCD board is going to go on top of the Wi-Fi, and there are 4 screws that is holding onto it. So remember that 4 screws. So this is the one of them. The second one is on the here. And the last one is the far left. For some reason it's not going in the screw. I'm not too sure. Maybe this new board, the manufacturer did not make a right screw holding. You know, I just not sure why it's not screwing back in. But anyway, let's just continue with the video. I know it's a bit too long. So this is the Wi-Fi. Again, you need to make sure that the Wi-Fi in the right bracket, right? So make sure you aligned it properly, and once you have it in the right position, you can just snap it back on. So make sure you aligned it in the right position. You do not want to make any bend any pin or anything here. So it doesn't take a lot of pressure. Once you align it in the right position, you press it gently, it will just go right in. Okay, so that's that. And then here comes with the LCD board. So it's the same thing. Make sure you aligned it in the right position, and then when you press it, you can feel like it just automatically goes in. Now these two screws here, this is the board that holds onto the bracket that holds onto that cable. So all the screws are not the same, and when you remove the screw, make sure you have them in the right position, so that it's easier for you to put it back on later. So remember this bracket, as I was explaining to you, that they are not on the new screen, so you can just transfer back from the old screen to this new screen here, and the two screws are holding onto the bracket. So it's pretty simple and easy. The screws are really small, so just be careful. Okay, now once you have that install or transfer, remember this clipper, same goes. The clipper, you need to flip it, and when you flip it, it will align with the base. Okay, once you align with the base, while you're holding that little plastic here, you just got to put the screws on. If you're still following the video, you're almost done. Okay. I know this video is a bit too long, but I'm just taking my step and explain to you while I'm doing this, so I'm not concentrating, and the same time is I need to, make sure that you're following along this, step by steps. So I'm doing it at a slow pace. Hope you are following along so far. But of course, if you have any question, you get stuck, just comment below, and I'm more than happy to answer the question and help you to finish the repair. Now here at this point, what you can do is you can connect the cable back on first. So if you see that, make sure the clipper is open, and then what you want to do is you want to slide this cable all the way in to your right. Okay, once you have it all in, then you're going to close that clipper to make it secure. Once the clipper is closed, you have a very tiny room where you can put the screw back on. So this is the screw that holds onto the battery. Remember, that connection has to be established, right? So it's a very tiny room, but do not, break the cable. I'm going to put the screw first. So let me go ahead and open this up again. Open up the clipper, slide the cable to your left. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect the battery first. I know some people are saying like, oh, why you have the battery plugged in while you're doing the repair, it would short up the board. But to me, I've never shorted up a board while the battery is plugged in, but who knows, better be safe than sorry, right? Right now I'm going to connect the cable, slide it to your right. Alright, I have that installed. Let's go ahead and put this one back on. Okay, so the final step is I'm gonna have the back plate. So the back plate, what you want to do is you want to slide it in. So make sure you align the corner. Once the corner is in the right position, slide it in on one side and then do on the other side, and then press that clipper here. Alright, so it clips on. So before I put the screws back on, well, let's just do the screws back on already. So we're just going to do it one time, make sure everything works. I'll turn on the screen and I'll show it to you, the quality of this screen. It's not the best, you know, I don't think it's an original screen from Apple, but it is a good enough quality to get you going. But if you want an original Apple screen, you may have to go back to Apple Store for that. If you're buying this screen, it's probably, to me, it looks like a third party, but the quality itself, I can't tell the difference. I think the quality is good enough. But yeah, so let's turn it on and I'll show it to you. I might need to have the charger. I think the battery is dead, but well, I'll look for the charger. Let's wait. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so the screen is turning on and it looks good to me. So this is it, and this is the video on how to do a screen replacement. I hope you like it. I hope that, you know, this video helps you to give you a step-by-step and explain, and hopefully this help you to replace your screen. So if you have any question, comment below. I'm sorry, you know, the video is in and out. I feel like I wasn't focused enough to explain. The same time I was having some difficulty, and the same time, like, you know, some of the screws are not going into the new screen, so that kind of bothered me a little bit. So I wasn't having a clear explanation, but I apologize for that. But besides, I hope that this video helps you, give you a guidance, and if you have any question, just, you know, comment below and I'm more than happy to help you. So please take care, and if you like the video, please smash the like button. I really appreciate that, and subscribe. Until next time, I make more video for you. Take care and goodbye.